What's going on today, you guys? Today we're talking about my obsessive personality and how it affects my music and my life. Let's get right into it. So guys, one of the things I'm really trying to promote on this channel is just honesty. It's one of my core values, and it's one of the things that social media and YouTube in particular is especially lacking. Right now, a lot of people are doing fake things, they're staging things, they're trying to do all these things that are fake for people just so they'll watch their videos, and that's something that I really do not want to do. And when applying honesty into my own life, I definitely have to be transparent, especially on this YouTube channel. So one of the things I've struggled with since I was really little, which is also kind of a benefit in a weird way, is my extremely obsessive personality. So I'll have these little spurts, sometimes it'll be just a few days, sometimes it'll be months, sometimes it'll be years of having like an extreme obsession with something. And the only single obsession that I've kept going since the age of 5 is playing the drums. And I've kept doing this obsessively. I buy cymbals like no one else. Like my bank account goes like that. Oh man, where'd it go? And then I look at the 2 cymbal bags I have at home that are filled up and that I barely ever use. That's the kind of things I get obsessed with. I've been obsessed with drums forever. Right now I'm especially obsessed with motorcycles. I love cameras. I get really obsessed with that kind of stuff, with making videos, with video editing, with making food, with making coffee, with all these different things. So that's just kind of how my personality works. And one of the reasons I'm making this video today is because I know I'm not alone. I know there's a lot of people with the same kind of thing, but this week I really noticed it especially kind of inhibiting my practice schedule and inhibiting my music making process. Once again, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. I get to do all these great things, and I get to do all these great things that will possibly benefit my music and will possibly inspire my music, but sometimes it'll take away from my practice time or time that I'll put into directly playing music or practicing music or even listening to music. So for instance, this weekend, I basically spent the entire weekend taking apart my motorcycle and modifying it, wrapping the exhaust, painting the wheels black, figuring out how all this stuff works because I've never taken it totally apart before. Oh, and also fitting it with new tires. And this was just a big process. It basically took the entire weekend. And now looking back on it, I totally don't regret it. I would totally do it again, but once again, it's kind of taking away from certain parts of music. It's taking away from me practicing drums all weekend or listening to music all weekend or hanging out and playing with my friends all weekend. So it's just one of those things that's kind of a hit or miss, and it's one of the drawbacks of this kind of obsessive personality I have going. Last school year, I had obsessions with coffee. I'd go to all these coffee shops, I'd research all these beans, all these espresso machines, all these different ways of making like an AeroPress. And earlier in the summer, I fell down the same rabbit hole with cooking. And so I'm always kind of falling into these little holes, and sometimes they'll take me away from drumming for a little while. So this is one thing I'm really trying to work on in my own life. I like having these like quote-unquote obsessions, but I can't let it take away from my drums and me progressing to be the musician that I want to be. But yeah, once again, let's talk about the positives a little bit of this obsessive personality. So of course, like I was saying earlier, the one obsession that I've really maintained throughout my whole life, basically since I was 5, is playing drums. I play drums obsessively all the time. I'll have these really big spurts of practicing. Sometimes I won't be practicing that much. Sometimes I'll be practicing literally all day. Sometimes it'll be really great practicing. Sometimes it'll just be kind of noodling around. And as I've gotten older, I've refined this. Most of my practicing has gotten better. I've gotten better at practicing on a regular basis. So all these things are starting to come into play as I get older. But the positives of this are I'm practicing a lot when I'm really obsessed with this. And I learn all these things that are really great about all these certain things. So I know all these things about cymbals. I could name basically every brand of cymbal. I've heard all these cymbals on YouTube. I've played as many of them as I possibly can. Same thing with drums. I know all about drums, about bearing edges, about different types of wood, about different plies, all these different things, the drum companies, the cymbal companies. And that's kind of more of a gearhead thing, but the other part of the obsession just comes from honing my craft and practicing. And in my opinion, that's a really, really healthy thing. And especially if it's in drumming where I want my career to be, because I basically can't put too much time into that. The drumming obsession isn't the bad thing. It's usually when I get way too obsessed with another thing, kind of like this weekend when I was just working on my motorcycle basically all weekend. And that was kind of all I was thinking about too. And that's where I kind of start to draw the line. So in the future, I'm going to try to not have quite as many of these obsessions, at least outside of drumming. And I'm working more and more on getting the obsession of drumming to maintain totally constantly throughout my life. but I absolutely love drumming. It has nothing to do with that. I've always loved playing the drums, and I've always loved practicing the drums, but sometimes I just get focused on these other things that I really like to do as well. So every single day I just keep trying to hone my focus and get deeper and deeper into drumming and try to not lose that focus. And that doesn't mean I can't do other things, and I highly recommend you do other things, but just don't let it take your focus away from what you're really trying to do. So once again, guys, this is kind of just an honesty video. I'm just opening up and telling you guys what's going on in my life right now, and this has been going on for a really long time. It's not like I have a serious illness or anything, but it's something I struggle with mentally a lot. And not even necessarily in a bad way. It's not like, oh man, I'm really struggling to get up this mountain. No, it's just like a struggle I have. I'm trying to practice as much as I can, and that gets in the way sometimes. So let me know if you guys ever run into this kind of thing too, and if you have this kind of obsessive, massive bursts of energy going into this one thing type of obsessive personality. So thank you guys so much for watching again today, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you watch some of my other videos, and if you're enjoying those, go down below and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Once again, guys, I'm just playing drums on this channel, playing music, talking about music, and just talking about my life. And again, one of the things I'm really trying to promote here is honesty. So if you're into honesty, maybe check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you have a great day.